Welcome everyone to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel GBoot2786 on Periscope as well as Facebook on my Facebook page. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. We have a special guest. I've got a bunch of special guests that are going to be coming through all of this week. Yesterday was Reverend. I don't know if you had a chance to see that interview, Brother Johnson, but today we have Brother Bernard Johnson. You guys have heard him on the Judge Joe Brown show. He comes on. He's a frequent contributor, and he also has his own YouTube channel, King BJ Johnson. People whose eyes in the gut might have something thinking about the King BJ right there.
It's okay.
For a sec, I'm sorry. How you doing, Brother Bernard?
I'm doing fine. I'm just getting off the Bishop's program, and I'm on here with you. So,
yeah.
I mean, just getting home from a day at work, but it is what it is. Glad that I was able to catch up with you. Let me say something to you, because I don't know too many people from New Orleans, but as a child, I just wanted to say this. I was a big fan of the Cash Money Records, and I used to have even the Cash Money Records chain on my neck. They used to call me Birdman, as a matter of fact. But down when you had Hurricane Katrina, I remember one of our own from Virginia, Aaron Brooks, who was the quarterback of the Saints. And Aaron Brooks me and him used to play basketball at American Family Fitness, and he actually started making a lot of houses in Richmond. Short Pump, Newport News, Virginia, but he lived out in Short Pump. We've actually been around each other probably about 4 or 5 times. And Aaron's a real nice guy. He was a good quarterback for the Saints. I know when he started talking about Katrina, he got blacklisted for the most part. They exiled him to the black hole, and then he couldn't find a job. Anyway, Aaron Brooks is also the cousin of Michael Vick, which a lot of people probably know.
Right. I knew that. We knew that because Michael Vick was the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course, the Saints' biggest rival is Atlanta. So in the NFC South, when Brooks would play against Vick, it would be – they would say cousin versus cousin because that was his they were second cousin twice.
Yep.
Removed. So, Aaron Brooks actually he's second behind in terms of passing behind Drew Brees because Brees broke all of his records. So, So I remember
I looked at him as an athlete, but he's actually, when you talk to him, he's a real down-to-earth guy. If you ever met him, he's actually real down-to-earth. He's real nice brother, actually, when you talk to him face-to-face. So he always talked to me nice, and I always talk to him nice. So that's how I know about New Orleans. Otherwise, I know about Mardi Gras, and I knew about Ray Nagin, as I was texting you yesterday about Ray Nagin and what they did. And that crap job.
Right. Well, Nagin, Nagin did time in jail, but he got released as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And what they did with Nagin was that Nagin was trying to, I know for a fact, especially from talking with Dick Gregory, they actually met after Katrina with Ray Nagin, trying to make the New Orleans area smaller, pretty even out in Dallas, and he had known as far as back then they were going to do some stuff with the levees, but he actually worked with he was in Dallas when they had this meeting a few days after Katrina, and some citizens, wealthy citizens, talked to him and said that they wanted to see a smaller New Orleans. Now, I did a video on the 15th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I live here in New Orleans East, and there are some areas that are not rebuilt. They have areas that are still green space. We have limited shopping facilities. New Orleans is the only city that I know of that doesn't actually have some type of shopping mall in their area, in their metropolitan area. You have to go to another city like Slidell or Jefferson Parish. That's where most people usually go to go and shop and get clothes, and that's the nearest mall to go to a movie or so forth, like a stadium theater. I just really going to the theaters right now at this point, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and another one
There's
more
some
thing.
truth
I
to
was
it.
always reading about Camp Greyhound and all the other. Y'all got Angola prison. Y'all got a lot of things in New Orleans, but actually,
Well,
part of the thing that they
Angola's
did.
not in New Orleans.
That's in Louisiana, right?
It's in Louisiana, but it's like outside West Feliciana, and it's basically it's a plantation. So
Oh, yeah, I know. I used to be
yeah.
a corrections officer, and we had a guy that used to always talk about Angola prison and things like that. So yeah, so that's another thing right there. But I won't get too much. I just say one more thing. And I used to
Go
read
ahead.
about Camp Greyhound, and so New Orleans always intrigued me by how the destruction of Katrina and how they did it, the land grab they did, the gentrification, the charter school experiment they put in. New Orleans set up everything in that. And as a matter of fact, Arne Duncan, who was Obama's Secretary of Education, said that Hurricane Katrina was the best thing that happened to New Orleans because it allowed them to restructure their education system. That's what he said as on mouth.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit, brother Bernard, but I think but that quote you're talking about, Arnie Duncan, I believe, was worked with the New Orleans Saints, if I'm not mistaken. I'm thinking, and he was actually, I remember something along those lines because, of course, what they did with the projects that were here in New Orleans, they tore all of those down. If you saw Spike Lee's documentary, he had two on Hurricane Katrina. The first was when the levees broke.
Yep.
If God is willing, the creek don't rise, which was, I think, 5 years after Katrina that he did that special. And yes, they certainly and these projects were not even affected. Some of them were not affected by the water. They did not get flooded, or it was very minimal. What they were trying to do was use it as an excuse to force people out of there and rebuild it and put mixed income housing, but make it basically like a nice suburb or so forth. And you see that projects were built, the projects where a lot of Black families were there. We just had an actual story on the 50th anniversary of the New Orleans police standoff with the Black Panthers.
That's right.
That was actually right. Well, what happened with that was they actually went into how those projects were built. They weren't even on proper foundation. That was because Black people lived there. They didn't put cement and lay stuff on it so that it would be steady. So the buildings, the reason why you would see it crack foundation was weak. They never had that. And yeah, what you're saying about the school system, I mean, it was basically a land grab. I knew that. I wrote the book on it. Katrina, Eyes Have Not Seen, Ears Have Not Heard, when I was in college. And I had to experience that and go through all of that. I'll never forget, 15 years later. That's why when people call Donald Trump the worst president in history, George Bush, I think, occupies that spot for me because I have a personal reason.
Oh yeah. Well, have some personal disrespect for Nagin as well. Disrespect for Nagin as well because he wasn't nothing but a daggone sellout Bush coon or whatever he was. That was some bullshit, man.
Well, remember he actually told him to get up off his ass and fix what's going on when Katrina happened. He actually lost it. But Nagin, the actual name for him was Ray came there, and that was because he was hanging out with, I think he was either registered as a Republican or he was endorsing and supported by a lot of Republican party members, candidates, and that didn't work out. He ran as a Democrat against Richard Pennington, who was a former police chief here. He became a police chief in Atlanta. He just died not too long ago. But when I made that speech about Chocolate City, and that's when all of the trouble for him started. But there was no question this was a big land grab. with Katrina. And I mean, it's hard to even, and I won't say it's hard to go over, but we have a long ways to go from there. And I think more people, if they came down to New Orleans and saw certain areas and not just the French Quarter, they would realize that the American, that we've all been duped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I will hopefully one day make my way there. We'll see.
yeah, so you have a cup of gumbo with me.
We'll check that out. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I know we got.
Okay, so everybody, this is Brother Bernard Johnson, aka King BJ, and there you go, ladies. And tonight, Brother Bernard, we got the vice presidential debate that's going on. Of course, between Mike Pence, who's the current vice president, versus Kamala Harris. And I want to know what your thoughts are about it. You're going to be watching it tonight, and who do you think will win? Or do you think there is a win?
See, here's the thing. I don't think I look at it like this with that debate. It's gonna be like another sideshow bothers me. However, Pence is gonna bring facts, and Kamala Harris is gonna bring emotion. See, that's the thing. Like even with Donald Trump's thing last week, it was facts versus Joe Biden talking about feel good, and actually he denied a lot of things. So the thing with Pence is gonna keep his cool. Pence is the opposite of a Donald Trump. So he's he's the opposite of a Donald Trump. So it's kind of like very weird how you describe Pence. He's got a cool demeanor. Trump is a bull in a china shop. So that's how that goes. So I mean, I'm not
right. So you had watched the debate last week with Trump.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you're not looking for. Well, I think that I don't know. Well, I was talking with Brother Ron Hurd, a friend of yours and a friend of mine, and shout out to him. He's watching actually. I saw. He actually pointed this out that Mike Pence actually worked in media before, just like Donald Trump. He has worked in media. Those guys work in media. They know how to do marketing. So I think that gives him an advantage. He actually was a radio host. I didn't know this. Mike Pence. Did you know that?
Yeah, I read something about it a while back. But I mean, I was looking at him more. So I look at him as cool. If you're talking about a win as far as demeanor and not getting in too much fantasy land like Kamala Harris, if he confronts Kamala on facts, he's going to win that debate easily. I mean, it's not even a question.
Well, a lot of people, especially even in the Black community, have never been sold on Kamala Harris when she was announced, even before she was announced as the vice presidential pick, just based off of her record.
Well, I wasn't sold on her for way before then. I mean, I've been reading about it since 2017, as a matter of fact. So I wasn't sold on her from day one. As a matter of fact, why we keep calling her even the Black community? She's an Asian American with some Jamaican in her. As a matter of fact, every time I look at her, she gets lighter and lighter. Is she skin lightening or something? I can't tell.
Well, I know that on her birth record, the birth record that was circulating, her birth certificate said Caucasian. So it is what it is. And many, right. And many, and I think, something that goes on in Asian communities that a lot of people don't talk about and people don't realize is that they can be just as prejudiced and not racist towards Black men. And I think that might be something that she dealt with. This is somebody who doesn't, even her own father has some issues with her.
Yeah, something else, brother, about that. As a matter of fact, you talking about Asians.
I know that her parents divorced.
I got a policy I keep down here. If it was a neighborhood where I grew up in, and I see an Asian or something running that's in that store, Earl, I just make a policy of not going to that store. I will not shop with you at all. I will drive 5 miles to go to a Black-owned coffee shop. I mean, that's just me. So
you've had bad experiences.
Well, I mean, I know how they get it. I know how they get their money. And I know if you live in a community, you have to put something back in that community. But these guys aren't living there. They're living in the suburbs and in the cities getting tax breaks down here. It's famous everywhere. But I mean, we had whole communities down here in Richmond that, just for the most part, decimated or not even decimated. You see, they got the 7-Eleven, they got everything. They got the little corner stores.
Right.
Don't sell me. Well, I don't eat pork, so that's me. But don't sell me poison, cigarettes, and all this stuff. But you don't even eat that. I actually asked one. You don't eat this. Y'all Muslims. Y'all don't eat this. So why would you sell it to me? From what I know, you're not even supposed to touch it. So I'm trying to find out why you selling it to my people.
Well, it's business at the end of the day. They know that we'll buy it. I know that. Yeah. Well, but I'm saying again, it's business. I think that even in some states, they're not supposed to gamble. They're not supposed to drink, but they sell alcohol and they'll sell lottery tickets. We'll buy stuff from their stores it's predicted actually in the year 2065 that I did a show yesterday with Reverend Clenard Childress. The Black American community is actually going to population numbers are going to be at about 13%, which is what it is right now, and the Asian Americans are actually going to surpass Black Americans. And what it's going to be is basically they will be the second largest The Hispanic community will be about 46%. You will have the Asian community. You'll have whites, and then you'll have blacks at that rate. That was on theguardian.com. They predicted that a few years back in their studies. And we were talking yesterday with Reverend Childress about the effect of abortion, whether or not that played a role in the reason why African Americans are not our population is not reproducing at the level of other groups. And Reverend Childress, if you check out the interview I did, Brother Johnson, that was about a 2-hour conversation. It was real pleasant that we had. He broke down in detail what the issues were. And these groups also set up businesses in our communities. They've made millions.
Well, yeah, that's right.
They've made millions.
Yeah. Let me. I'm not getting too far off topic. I meant to text you this earlier, but I forgot. But a friend of mine reminded me. There's an operation called Operation Shakeout coming. Well, Great Shakeout coming on October 15th. It's a worldwide earthquake drill. Just wanted to inform you of that. I know because you got a hurricane coming there this week, so I wanted to inform you of this earthquake drill they're doing on October 15th as well. So.
An earthquake drill across the world.
Yes.
Okay, we don't really get earthquakes here, although they occasionally rarely happen.
Yeah, it's called the Great Shakeout.
It's not like California, but yeah. Okay, and this is an actual drill. Everybody. Okay, well, that's cool. You inform the people. That's why you're here. We got people that are watching. We got about 4. Well, it says 4 people. I see IBME is in the building. What's up, brother? How you doing? Ross LeBlanc on Facebook. He's a fellow attorney. He asked, "Can we expect the vice presidential debate to be more civil and have more substantial discussion about issues and less personal attacks?" Yes.
I think it will be.
I
think it will be. I think it will be because of Pence's demeanor. I don't think it'll get too out of hand. I think this want to be more controlled.
Yeah, most definitely. This is actually the only vice presidential debate that they do between these two that we'll see. And I think Pence, honestly, I don't see him he's not a guy really. You don't see him all the time, like talking about as much as you see Kamala Harris. And I think he's a guy, I may not be a fan of his politics per se. And, I think he does not impress me, really. I wouldn't want him as president any more than I would want Trump. And really, anyway, more I would want Biden or Harris. I've never been sold on those people. And that's why we have Donald Trump, because our system is broken right now. But in truth be told, But
Gavin, I just
yeah,
say,
I think Pence is going to be
go ahead. I'll finish when you finish up.
right. Well, I was
Go
just going
ahead.
to finish and say, but yeah, I think Pence is going to be controlled. He knows how to handle himself.
Let me say something, Gavin, here about the only thing I like about Donald Trump is only one thing.
What's
And I
that?
always say this. He, you know, shows you everything that's going on. He shows you the game is rigged. I like the fact that he exposes everything, all the corruption, all the lies, all the truth that you didn't see before. When my brother started teaching about this thing in 2013, right? And we talked about Revelation. We used to read Bibles, scripture. We used to read books for America. We wrote about I got books downstairs, the protocols, the Elder Zion. All these books we read, right? Or we're reading, or I'm reading now. It's all prevalent to the day of what's going on today because it said this would happen. Donald Trump is exactly the buffer I needed to happen from. He's playing a role, but he plays a significant role in letting you know what time it is. If you don't know what time it is by now, you need to check yourself and find out what era you living in. Because I know what time it is.
Yeah.
Revelation. Read it.
Yeah. Well, definitely. People say they prefer. A lot of people say they prefer Donald Trump to the other candidates just because he's
That's right.
out and open. You know what to expect from him. The late Charles Evers, who Medgar Evers' brother and former mayor out in Mississippi, he actually said that he was a Republican. He actually endorsed Donald Trump, but he also endorsed Barack Obama before that. And he said, he likes Trump because he shoots right from the hip. A lot of people prefer that. But, I think Trump what I can say about him is that you know what to expect from him.
Yeah,
And
that's all I want.
I've heard Bob Johnson say this, and I even saw that the Puerto Rican governor, came out actually
That's right.
uh, earlier today. The Puerto Rican governor actually endorsed Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody saw that story, but she endorsed him, and this is even coming from a few years after the hurricane that hit. And remember, a lot of people were upset with Trump when he was playing with the toilet paper.
That's right.
Handling out, yeah. But
Yeah, her name is
she's
Wanda.
endorsed
Yep.
him. Wanda
That's
Garcia,
right.
60 years old.
Yep.
And it says it right
Well,
here. And
that doesn't do good for is what we call that didn't do good for the people who trying to make Puerto Rico a state. What do you think, huh?
uh actually, you know what? I think the reason why she did that, maybe she got some money. The country got money from him.
That's right.
Yeah, it's quid pro quo. They look out for each other. Politicians, I mean, they don't care about every other community. And you said this, I think it was you that
Yeah.
said this when we were talking on Judge's show. Every other community, I hate these ads that pop up. They treat voting as a business transaction that they
That's
do for
right.
something. They don't care about the emotions and what he did. And yeah, it says it right here. Trump recently unveiled a $13 billion aid package to help Puerto Rico recover from Hurricane Maria.
Well, there you go.
So money talks, but I don't know if it's been approved yet.
Well, here's the thing, Gavin, and I always say this. That's why I say, like, when you got a black caucus that won't meet with Donald Trump, I don't care if you like him, don't care about him, I hate his guts. Just make a deal, please. Everybody else making deals. Stop treating it like I'm not on no emotional guilt trip. All I want is payment for us. That's it. I don't want to pay them for no Native Americans. I don't want to pay them for no Jews. I don't want to pay them for no immigrant. I don't want to pay them for no minorities because they're gonna be white and probably LGBT and everybody else. Just us. Give me what you owe. I ain't asking for no handout. This is what you owe, and this is what we are supposed to have. Now, I tell you what, it's getting that dire circumstance now. The winter's coming up. Really, we need to be out in the streets taking this thing back. Even the first of all, it ain't about no accent. Really, see, when you ask, mommy, can I get something? No, you demand, give me what I want, or this is what's gonna happen. Or matter of fact, don't even tell me that. Come on, let's go ahead and take it and see who's gonna last at the end of the battle. Yeah, that's how I'd rather handle it. Take what I need. Because I'm telling you, if this, then they talk about stimulus package, but if people
Right,
have to
brother Bernard.
oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say keep. Let me run for a second. I gotta go. Somebody's at my door. But yeah, you keep. Anybody got questions and so forth? Just give me 1 second. Y'all ask Brother Bernard any questions and talk. Yeah, you go ahead and talk. Just give me a second. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
All right, that's good, sir. I'm glad you're back. All right.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, Brother Ron Hurd is actually here in the
I see him in the
building
building.
too. He says King BJ in the house. Yeah, he said
See, that's a
Kamal
great.
Harris.
That's a
Like I
great brother.
said, yeah, Ron is a great brother. I saw him actually at the Foundational Black American Conference, and he came up there. That was the first time I actually met him, and he came up there looking, it was cool to see him in person. He had the red hat on, like at first I thought Fred Rerun Berry came back from the dead. And I saw him. Yeah. Thought he was gonna go and break dance in the building. I'm like, damn.
Well, hey, look, man, hey, look, man. Sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying these days. So, hey, if you want to do a break dance, go ahead and do it. Shoot. But yeah, I wanted to say something else about this Puerto Rico situation, and that's why I always tell you. See, when it comes to business like this $13 billion aid package, right? You see this thing you put up on the screen, right?
Right.
We owed 16. If we owed all these $1 trillion in reparations, we got enough money from athletes, entertainers. They need to be marching down the door, but of course they're so chicken-hearted and so sold out. They don't even want to talk about it. I'm trying to find out. Like I put it on Facebook the other day. Joe Biden's got Jermaine Dupri, Monica, Young Jeezy, Anthony Hamilton and I think Ludacris endorsing him. What are you endorsing Joe Biden for? I mean, y'all are rich, paid brothers. So I look at it like when you put yourself out there as an entertainer, I don't understand what you're doing because I can't take you seriously, Young Jeezy. You were a drug dealer, and now you're saying, "Oh, I got put in jail for a crack rock," and now you're endorsing the man who made the laws possible. Seriously, are you kidding? I mean, the question is to ask.
Do you feel the same way about Jay-Z?
So that's Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z. I mean, he sold drugs. I mean, he hasn't endorsed anybody, but I remember the last presidential election, he did the concert for Hillary Clinton and so forth in Cleveland. LeBron, currently now, you know, the athletes like LeBron and The Rock Johnson, they've come out endorsing Biden. They're trying to get black people out to vote. I got something in my mail, I think, that LeBron James was sending out in the NBA to try to get people registered to vote. And matter of fact, I'm gonna play this video too. This was gonna be my other topic, but this video that I have right here, if you guys remember Jane Fonda, the actress, she actually has. We saw "Get Your Booty to the Polls," but this one is not that bad compared to that. But I have here remade her workout video with some celebrities to try and get people out to vote, to exercise the right to vote. So I'm gonna play that so everybody can see.
We're bringing back the movement. We need you to be in shape for the upcoming race. I need you to be strong.
Now look at all the celebrities that she has.
Fully committed to the task at hand. So let's get ready to exercise our right to vote.
Exercise your right to vote.
That's Kerry Washington.
Right. March in place. Right, left, right. Starting to the right. Down. And up. Down, reverse. Down, reverse.
She's got Amy Schumer in there, Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom. That's Shaq.
Yeah. Come to vote.
So yeah, well, that was the ad. But yeah, a lot of people. Hey, she said something else too. Brother T West, actually from Afro Energy News, talked about her, where she said something along the lines. I'm quoting that. This COVID-19 gift to the left, or something along those lines. What do you think of that?
You broke up there, but we'll say that again.
What do you think of what I was saying? Is what did you think of the Jane Fonda video and what she said about COVID-19 being God's gift to the left, or something along those lines?
Well, I don't know about God gives left because, like Trump said, don't let it dominate your life. So if you look at me, look like fearless leader said, hey, don't worry about it. That's the other thing. Also, I always want to say, with virus with an 0.2 or 0.1 death rate, really should not be panicking when they're using this for other nefarious purposes to take your civil liberties away when they signed that Patriot Act on March 27, 2020, which is in contact tracing, is part of that Patriot Act too. Now, I will say this: the workout video, as a person who works out as much as I do and trains as much as I do, I'm very insulted using it as a right to vote. I think it's I think it's insulting, but look, man, look, when you see these stuff like this and get your booty to the poll and Amanda Seals say get out and vote with no policy, it just shows you don't know how to talk to the average grassroots, because anybody else got court justice talking, man, they would have said, look, don't throw this. You see they don't pander to Latinos like that. Even when Biden tried to do it with that little song he played up there, they checked him and let him know, you're not gonna do this. So you can't keep pandering to me. This doesn't even move me. It makes me just like comedy show, man. Just like the other day, you know, we had one of the worst things that happened on Saturday Night Live the other night. Did you see it?
Unfortunately, it sucked.
Yeah. Well, and I'm saying Malcolm X's words should not
I
have
saw
been.
it, but I didn't laugh that much.
Well, Malcolm X's words should not have been used to peripherate Megan Thee Stallion up there shaking her butt with three, and then the part where who shot you the hair, how they hate yourself, your hair and your nose. Well, you got weave in, and the girls got red hair in the back, and you dress like a thought. So I'm trying to find out, you know, that's crazy how that worked out. When you look at how this worked out, and she used that, I need to find some black women I know from the hood and say, hey, look here, can you grab Megan Thee Stallion and slap her, please, for what she did? Because that was embarrassing. You don't use one of our revolutionaries and cheapen his name on that damn Saturday Night Live skit. I don't care if you're talking about Daniel Cameron or one. You want to talk about Daniel Cameron? That's what you want to talk about. But don't you dare use Malcolm X's name in vain. And that's the same thing Billy Porter did with his sick ass with that damn red, black, and green dress. You don't use no revolutionary with your LGBT front. Screw you, Billy Porter, and screw you, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. Well, so you thought it was offensive that she came out there and did the Black Men Protect Black Women tribute that she did for Breonna Taylor, and then shaming on Daniel Cameron.
It's hypocritical because you're saying protect black women, but if you do an experiment and you see, I mean, you got a woman with a hijab on that's dressed nice with fully clothed, a brother will walk to her and respect her more than he'll respect a woman, you know, dressed up in what she's dressed in, you know. I mean, you know, that's the thing. So, I mean, unfortunately, you know, some of the guys in the hood probably, you know, oh, I got to get that. Well, that's all you looked at as a piece of meat, Megan. And, you know, it just was a disgrace, and they let them prop them up to do that. So it was a PSA, but in all honesty, it's no different than a woman.
What I find interesting, what I find interesting though about women like Megan Thee Stallion and others is that they want the certain type of black man. They want to be protected, but at the same time, they mess with some of the worst in society. Like I just don't get that, where, you know, you want something, you want somebody to be a particular thing, and once that comes to you, you reject it, but you take the thing that you and accept the thing that you don't, you know, you hold against, that you despise too. So I just never understood stuff like that. You know, I always had my troubles with girls, you know, dating the thugs and so forth, because I was the bookworm, and I had my mind was set up that I wanted to do something positive with my life. And then some girls, they were not interested in brothers like that.
Well, I will say this. Like we had when we were on the show last week with that lady with Andrew Barnes Gomes of Get Your Booty to the Pole. And she's sitting there peddling around, lying or whatever. And I'm sitting there saying, and I made a mistake because I said it was her, but actually it's her sister that was on the news network in South Carolina, which is Alicia Barnes, but she got pictures with Clyburn. You saw the pictures. So it's all connected. There ain't no gimmick that why this came up. So, you know. But I'm saying all these people are connected, and this is just a PSA. She tell you she's nonpartisan. You know where it's from, just like Black Lives Matter. I sent you the video the other day when they said, fuck your Jesus and all that.
You sent me a lot of videos, Bernard.
Hey, look, man, sorry.
Yeah. It's all right. It's no good. It's good that you got information there, and especially, with the Angela Barnes thing. I was there too, and you listened to it as well. You know, she was talking about how she came up with that ad, and what the biggest lie she said was what? All of those women were from Magic City. I was like, hell no.
No, they weren't from Magic City. I think the judge is right.
That wasn't even the Blue Flame Lounge. That wasn't even the Blue Flame Lounge.
No.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but that. Yeah, and you know, I think this is what's going to backfire on the Democratic Party, and they have not learned their lesson in the last 4 years, which is that you cannot take a certain group segment of society. You can't take a certain group for granted. You cannot take black males for granted anymore. Our minds are open. Our third eye, as we call it, is open. We can see. We don't want to have anything where we're just being used so you guys can push certain agendas for other groups. People are tired of that.
Hey, look, man, and you see it clearly, but my thing is, I mean, and that's why I said, like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, look, with all due respect with Ice Cube, they really need to be meeting with Dr. Claude Anderson, who's been out there for decades and decades fighting. Even talking to Ice Cube is still in the mind.
But Dr. Claude has well, Dr. Claude has been doing that fight for a long time. He's been in Congress and spoken to representatives and senators for the last 20-something years or more. I mean, he's been involved in it all of his life. He's in his 80s now. Ice Cube, you know, he has a platform, obviously, that's bigger than a Claude Anderson. You know, Ice Cube is an actor and he's a director and a rapper, and he has been in the entertainment industry for all of his life. So he knows and has connections with people. So it's a good thing that, yes, he does speak on those things. But when you want someone to be taken seriously, because I think he met with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but I don't think there was a final resolution of what occurred, what they talked about, exactly what happened in that meeting, if I'm not mistaken. I know this much. Dr. Claude Anderson actually had an opportunity to speak with Donald Trump's people back in 2016. They were open to talk to him, but when Hillary Clinton was running, her people did not want to talk to him.
That's right. So that's another issue that going on in Obama didn't want to talk to Dr. Claude Anderson at all. They basically just scrapped that. No, you're not going to talk about this. So, which is mighty weird that you got the first so-called black president that didn't even want to talk about reparations. And when he was asked about it, he said that it would be disrespectful to other groups who were coming over in the country. Well, that's what Barack Obama said out of his own mouth. On numerous occasions as well.
Well, I mean, on numerous occasions, he's actually shamed the black community. He shamed black men, especially when he gave that speech at Clark Atlanta back in 2013. I don't know if you remember that, but he talked about pulling up your bootstraps and not making excuses and things of that nature. And, you know, he's virtually sounded
like a white man,
like Bill Cosby with the pound cake speech. Although we've actually forgive Barack Obama more than we forgave Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby did more in his 80 years than Barack Obama did for 8 years for the black community. Bill Cosby, you know, funded HBCUs continuously throughout his life, even if he didn't give them money. The fact that he would wear a Dillard sweatshirt or a Xavier sweatshirt, Morehouse t-shirt, things of that nature. When his girls would go to like his daughter in the show went to Hillman College, even though that was a fictional college, that increased black enrollment into HBCUs in the 80s and 90s, you know, and sadly, we don't see that type of programming before, or rather later, after that show went off the air.
I will say something to you. This happened down here in Richmond, Virginia. We had a conference, and they had a white teacher talking at Virginia Union University, or one of HBCUs down here, and he said, we don't even ask to be taught African American studies in the school no more. So that's what he actually said on. It was like a Richmond town hall. I mean, you know, I gotta sing you this other story. You know, I know you say I sing you a lot of stuff, but you know, today we had something that's so bad in Richmond happen today, man. Somebody shot a dog in a drive-by, right? And they're trying to find the guy who shot the dog. You know, it's a law you get 5 years in prison called Thomas law in Richmond, Virginia.
No, I just think.
So we got a thing like that in Richmond where you can't, if you shoot a dog, you can get 5 years in jail. You hurt a dog, you get 5 years in jail. I think you kill a dog actually. You gotta look it up, but yeah.
I've not heard of that law before, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So once again, you get more time.
Yeah, well, Brother Bernard, what happens is when we talk, we have a delay. So let me play this video clip right here. I just want to play what Fonda had said briefly
Okay.
so everybody could see it.
Well,
Okay.
I just think COVID is God's gift to the left.
Wow.
Now, I don't think, yeah. Now, I don't know exactly what the whole quote is, but it says here what the whole context of it was. She was talking about obviously the election and coronavirus, and she said that Trump isn't helping the working class. The far left star was busy urging Americans to vote for Democratic nominee Joe Biden and said the upcoming election is a crossroads for the nation. We are people who can help determine which way humanity goes. What a great gift. What a tremendous opportunity. We're just so lucky. We just have to use it with every ounce of intelligence and courage and wherewithal we have, Fonda said in a video published online. I just think COVID is God's gift to the left, Fonda continued. That's a terrible thing to say. I think it was a very difficult thing to send down to us, but it has ripped the Band-Aid off who Trump is and what he stands for and what is being done to average people and working people in this country. Now, of course, Jane Fonda back in the 60s, and I wasn't around when she was there, but she used to be called, he had a nickname called Hanoi Jane because she went down to Vietnam with the North Vietnamese, the Viet Cong as they called it, and she sat on I'm trying to think of the term, what the type of machine it was, but a type I think she sat on a weapon basically that was used to shoot down American helicopters and planes and so forth. So that's where she got the nickname from.
I
But she's
remember
always
that.
been involved in politics. Huh?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't. But I remember seeing that, and I remember some years back during the presidential election with Bush and Gore. I think Miss Fonda was actually doing a press conference for a book signing, and one of the Vietnam veterans actually spat on her. It was an anti-aircraft gun. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah,
back in
but yeah,
1972.
for everybody, that was seem to be on that stuff now, like Angela Davis, she done went to the left, and I mean, she was a Marxist anyway. But I mean, it just, I mean, the agenda just does not make sense. I mean, that's why I told you, you got Black Lives Matter who are trained Marxists, even though today a Black Lives Matter advocate in California said that that they're not gonna vote for Joe Biden either because he's a part of the system of white supremacy. So you know, it's kind of like,
Anti-aircraft.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, finish, Brother Bernard.
Um. So when you look at it, and you look at all the con games, the athletes, and all this, are y'all really all mobilizing all these entertainers and stuff to cater to us, to motivate? Because when I look at it, last time I checked, the third support base among Black people is 35% for Donald Trump, and is actually higher than that even with Hispanics. So I'm just trying to find out what's the end game, because to me it looks like Donald Trump will be back in the White House, bro.
I think he's definitely going to get reelected. I don't see Joe Biden. He's not exciting. And in fact, a couple of months ago, a lot of Black voters, they said they weren't interested in voting for him. A lot of the Black male voters, that article that I ran from Yahoo News, they said they weren't interested
That's right.
in voting for him. He's just putting forth any real solutions. And this is going to be shades, I think, of John Kerry versus George Bush. It kind of reminds me of that. It reminds me of the Walter Mondale, Ronald Reagan situation. Mondale had a female vice presidential candidate. He only won 2 states in the electorate. Ronald Reagan even carried California.
They got polls saying that Trump could win 40 states right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, polls, MSNBC, they tell you the opposite, that Biden is leading. But like I had Pastor Childress on last night, he told me, and I know this as well, being a political science major, that everybody can lie to you when you come up and ask them a question. Somebody could say, yes, I will not vote for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Joe Biden. But the election is in November 3rd, so it hasn't happened yet. People can always change their minds.
Well, yeah, that's the issue.
Right. And
Yeah,
personally,
that's the other.
yeah. Personally, do you think he's going to get reelected?
Well, here's the thing. I think he's going to be reelected, but I think it's going to be settled through the court, and Cody Barrett is going to send is going to cast the deciding vote, Bush versus Gore. I mean, remember Bush versus Gore? You went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court pick is going to probably determine the election because they're not going. Nobody's going to concede. You know that. So,
right. Well, you think so? That was 20 years ago, actually, and stranger things have happened, especially on anniversaries and so forth. That might be some. That's interesting. A lot of people every year when there's a Republican candidate that's running, and when it's running, all of the celebrities that come out, they always do these ads, and they always say, like Diddy had vote or die back in 04 and 08, it was Obama or die. And you have this thing with Fonda and the others trying to get people out to vote. Every year they do the same thing, which is a fear tactic. And a lot of us, especially people in my demographic, my age group, I think are waking up to that because they're not sold on this. They want something for their vote. Kamala Harris is talking about giving even Indian immigrants under the H-1B visa that I've read. They have tangibles that are coming to them. But when she says, well, I'm not going to do anything that just benefits Black people, no, that rubbed the Black community the wrong way right there. And, I wouldn't be surprised, even with all the stuff that Trump has done and said, that Black voter turnout, especially for the Republicans, for him, actually would increase. He increased it the last time he ran.
That's right. He did. So the numbers would only go up if you think about it.
The numbers would only go up.
I mean, now I will say this: he does, except for one thing in that platinum plan, he does have something on paper. That's the only thing I will say, except for one little thing in there with the word minority. But otherwise, you look at it, and I mean, when it says Biden, when you get I support it if it got Native Americans. No, we didn't ask you that because those are white Native Americans you're talking about. So you're not getting another payoff.
Well, Biden has stated that it includes Native Americans. He was supported, but before that, he was even asked about reparations, and he made the comment that about how this country has always been a nation of immigrants. He avoided the question actually at the Democratic debate, so I remember that as well. And I don't know how people. Brother Bernard, you there? Are we frozen?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. I was looking at text message. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and I remember people caught wind of that. People had caught wind of that because he didn't answer the question. Even when Kamala Harris and Biden were in Detroit a few weeks ago, some Black businessmen wanted to talk to her, ask questions, and they were turned away.
That's right. I saw that too.
Yeah. So people are tired of being taken for granted.
Well, I'll say one thing about her. She's a conniving, and she's racially ambiguous. She is what they would call a person of color. And she is there to do what she is there to do. But we have to tell Kamala, as a matter of fact, as a Black man, I wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. I don't give a damn. You can bring every sorority, Delta, AKA, whatever. I still wouldn't vote for you. I know what you about.
I want to ask you this, though, before we leave. How do you feel, though, about vote shaming when people I don't know if you're saying that, but obviously when people want to shame you into voting, I've seen most of that where they point the finger at you saying, you need to go out and vote. Our ancestors fought for this. Do you get caught up in all of that? Like, have you had
Hell no. Hell
reaction?
no. Hell no.
Okay.
My ancestors fought for liberation. Liberation ain't fighting the right to vote. Hell no. I don't feel that way. And I tell you, that's that scared talk. A lot of people don't like what Kanye said, but when he said that slavery was a choice, right? I ain't gonna say it, but the mental and physical aspect, if you listen to what Kanye said, some of it has some truth to it. Like I said, you had that great brother, brother Ron, I call him Denmark Visa, he's got the spirit of a lion. I got the spirit of a daggone lion, but I run like a cheetah. Ain't no damn way you gonna tell me that my ancestors fought for no damn right to vote. Hell no, stop coming to me with that nonsense every 4 years. Oh, vote for Biden like your life depends on it. Well, I mean, hey, look, Michelle Obama, we go to your husband for 8 years, like I life depended on it. And what did we get? Not a damn thing. Shut your damn mouth. And you just shamed them. That might be the end of your legacy right there by telling us to vote for the man who locked us up in prison, in concentration camps.
Well, let me, on that note, I know you're talking about what Michelle Obama had made a comment. She actually did an infomercial for Joe Biden. His brother Ron had indicated earlier to me when we spoke, like a 20-minute video to vote for him. And if you remember when Hillary was running and Barack Obama spoke, he said that it would be an insult to my legacy if you didn't go out and vote for Hillary Clinton. And
That's right.
It backfired on him because Trump got elected. Ben, for many people, he didn't have a legacy for Black America because when he had his two attorney generals, two Black attorney generals, I might add, like Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch, they had an opportunity to prosecute some of these officers on federal civil rights charges. Just like even the case of the young brother Kendrick Johnson, who was found rolled up in a mat and died mysteriously, and they found his body, his organs missing, and he was stuffed with newspaper. His body was returned to his family exactly like that, and the case was closed. That didn't seem suspicious.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was bad, man. I mean, Matrice Richardson. I mean, you had so many people. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean, the killings in Chicago.
Eric Garner actually was the Eric Garner situation. Actually, was the one that really could have broken the mold, because with that there was no question an illegal chokehold was used on this man and it killed him. His autopsy says it was a homicide. Yes, they're going to link contributing factors. I mean, if you're older, if you're a 60-year-old man, more than likely you're going to have hypertension and so forth. And when you die, that as a contributing factor. But if that man was shot 5 times in his back, then the cause of death would be homicide by a gunshot, unless you could show otherwise. So it doesn't change because of his medical conditions. You're still responsible for that. And I can't believe that I can believe it because we live in America, but under a Democratic president, a Black president, supposedly, that this happened under, as well as and mayors that this happened under. Nobody did anything.
That's right. So
they didn't fire these people.
No, it's just like the day in the George Floyd case, the guy got out on $1 million bond. So the National Guard's headed to Minnesota right now. So we'll see what happens with that. I always say this, brother. And I mean, in Virginia, you got laws on the books that say you don't have to respect the right of no Black man. As a matter of fact, I don't think that's in any state actually, because the Dred Scott case actually told you that. So I'm not really sure. Maybe you have to identify. Obama said in 2012 on Tom Joyner morning show. He said himself, "Don't call me Black because Black has no standing by law." That's what he said on Tom Joyner morning show. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going with this thing. But it is what it is. So, yeah, brother. Yeah, you're an interesting guy, and I do still hold condolences to people in New Orleans even after 20 years. I know a lot of people went to Houston, Dallas, and other areas, and San Antonio as well. So a lot of people,
Atlanta.
yeah, a lot of people migrated on. And matter of fact, I think I probably knew 3 or 4 girls that moved from New Orleans to here. So people got transported all over the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
People were, I remember that. I mean, we had people going as far back to Hawaii, as far out as to Hawaii from New Orleans, and they were actually exposed to a whole new world because New Orleans basically they had a lid, a cover over their eyes, and they didn't know that other people live differently. You know how better some things were in different parts of the United States. In New Orleans, your property taxes are so high compared to other cities and so forth. People saw that, but this was that was definitely, of course, I've talked about it and over again, a land grab. But Brother Johnson, I take it you're about to go watch the vice presidential debate. I might be able to actually live stream it for everybody. Let's see if we can put it on CNN. Because I think, well, I know a lot of people don't like watching CNN, but I think, is it on right now?
It should be.
Yeah.
It should have just started. I know they may not got it. I don't have the TV on. I mean, my partner's watching it downstairs, but it is what it is. I mean, hey, look, man, I'm gonna tell you this, brother. I get ready.
Yeah, actually, it is on
Popcorn.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
In Kingsbury Hall tonight, we have a small
socially distant
audience,
and we've taken
extra precautions during this pandemic.
Among other things, everyone in the audience is required to wear a face
Wow.
mask, and the candidates will be seated 12 feet.
The audience is enthusiastic about
The
their
audience
candidates,
is
but they've agreed
enthusiastic
to
about their
express
candidates.
said
They've agreed to
enthusiasm only
express
twice
said
at the
enthusiasm
end of the
only
debate
twice.
and
At
now
the end of the debate. And
when
now,
I introduce the candidates.
Please
welcome
welcome
California Senator Kamala Harris
Senator
and
Kamala
Vice
Harris
President
and
Mike
Vice
Pence.
President Mike Pence.
Here you go. Wow. Thank you.
You got plexiglass between them.
Senator Harris and Vice President Pence,
Thank you for being here.
We're meeting as President Trump and the First Lady continue to undergo treatment in Washington after testing positive for COVID-19. We send our thoughts and prayers to them for their rapid and complete recovery and for the recovery of everyone afflicted by the coronavirus.
How long does this thing usually last? An hour?
And the Commission on Presidential Debates have
About an hour, 30 minutes.
for tonight. I'm here to enforce them on behalf of the millions of Americans who are watching. One note. No one in either campaign or at the commission or anywhere else has been told in advance what topics I'll ask or what questions I'll ask. This 90-minute debate will be divided into 9 segments of about 10 minutes. I'll begin a segment question to each of you. Sometimes the same question. Sometimes a different question. The same topic. You will then have 2 minutes to answer without interruption by me or the other candidate. Then we'll take 6 minutes or so to discuss the issue. At that point, although there will always be more to say, we'll move on to the next topic. We want a debate that is lively, but Americans also deserve a discussion that is civil. These are tumultuous times, but we can and will have a respectful exchange about the big issues facing our nation. Let's begin with the ongoing pandemic that has cost our country so much. Senator Harris, the coronavirus is not under control. Over the past week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even if a vaccine is released soon, the next administration will face hard choices. What would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? Would you impose new lockdowns for businesses and schools and hotspots? a federal mandate to wear masks? You have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Thank you, Susan. Well, the American people have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the facts. 210,000 dead people in our country in just the last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease. 1 in 5 businesses closed. We're looking at frontline workers who have been treated like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million people who in the last several months had to file for unemployment. And here's the thing. On January 28th, the Vice President and the President were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's lethal in consequence, that it is airborne, that it will affect young people, and that it would be contracted because it is airborne. What was happening and they didn't tell you. Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his ledger if you don't. And in spite of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that, and frankly, this administration has their right to re-election.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Thank you, Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, more than 210,000 Americans have died of COVID since February. The U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population is higher than that of almost every other wealthy nation on Earth. For instance, our death rate is 2.5 times that of Canada next door. You head the administration's coronavirus task force. Why is the U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population higher than that of almost every other wealthy country? You have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Susan, thank you. And I want to thank
my people here, right?
Commission and the University to Prevent, and Senator Harris. Privileged to be on the stage with you. Our nation's going through a very challenging time this year.
Yeah, I got my people here. He wanted
but I want the American people to know.
TV on. I don't want to be over topic here. I'm gonna let you go ahead and scream it out, and we're gonna have another interview soon. Okay.
More than 5 cases.
All right, brother. Yeah. Well, that has been it for me. This is another episode of Gavin Richard Presents. I see Brother Ron Hurd is in the building.
He suspended all.
He and I are going at it.
The second largest economy in the world.
Yeah, brother. But thank you, brother. But no,
Senator Joe Biden.
You have a good day.
Oh, before you go, why don't you tell everybody? Let me pause.
Yeah,
mute this. Tell everybody if you got a Cash App or a YouTube page.
YouTube King BJ Johnson, Facebook Bernard Johnson, Cash App $1919 BJ. If you want to donate, but I don't even ask for it. And Twitter, Instagram, Bernard 1121. I just want to tell you, people in New Orleans, be blessed. You keep it up. Prepare for the hurricane, and God bless all of y'all. Black Power.
Black Power, brother. All right. Thank you, and that has been it. This is another edition of Gavin Richard Presents, only on channel GBoo 2786. I'll holla. Peace.